Good morning. You're listening to Slices of Wenatchee. We're excited to bring you a closer look at one of our top stories and other important happenings every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Today, Vicci Martinez is back with her original band, and tonight, their music takes center stage in Leavenworth. Before we continue, have you joined Neighbor yet? If not, download the app today and join local conversations about issues that matter. Neighbor is a site just for our local community focused on facts, not misinformation. Best of all, it's free for everyone. To learn more, visit wenatcheeworld.com/NABUR. Now, let's jump in. Tonight, the Meadow Stage at Icicle Creek Center for the Arts will be alive with the sound of the Vicci Martinez Band. Back together after a decade and joined by original members and by Vicci's partner, Emily Tarver. From her breakout on The Voice to her role on Orange is the New Black, Vicci's career has spanned stages, screens, and songs that speak straight from the heart. The Wenatchee World's Jessica Drake sat down with her to talk about the band's reunion, what fans can expect at tonight's show, and a whole lot more.
Hello there. Well, I'm so excited to be on the phone with you, Vicci Martinez, musician coming to Leavenworth soon. How are you doing today? I hear you're in Chelan.
I'm doing great. That's why, because I'm in Chelan, one of my favorite places on earth.
And you got
Wonderful.
started in Tacoma, so you're a Washington State artist. Are you based in Seattle now?
I'm actually based in New York still, for the last 7-8 years.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, you got into the big city then, but how's it feel to come home for some shows?
It always feels good. I get to see my family. You know, I've been playing since I was young, so my network of fans and whatever is a lot more here on the West Coast, especially Washington. So it always feels nostalgic when I'm driving through these mountains. That's for sure.
Well, you'll be playing right at the base of the mountains for an outdoor concert at Icicle Creek Center for the Arts on August 16th, an outdoor venue, so a really special time. And I hear you're kind of playing around with some music ready to be recorded, getting out to live shows with your band. What's that band made up of right now? Who are you with?
Well, it's the original band that I started with, and like I said, that I was touring around Washington for so long. We took about a 10-year break, and so it was last year that we did a reunion show at the Triple Door in Seattle, which we're going to be doing this Friday and Saturday as well. It's Darren Watkins on drums, Rod Cook on guitar, Ryan Shea Smith on piano. My partner Emily Tarver is going to be singing backups with us, along with saxophone player Brett Cummings, and then our bass player Jeff Leonard. The OG band.
That sounds like a great group. So you got a long history, and how exciting to be reuniting with what's your set list like? Some music from your albums and maybe new tunes?
Yes, you said it correctly. We have we're doing 2 totally different shows this at the Triple Door. A lot of old music that I don't know, people kind of used to classify us as a little bit of a jam band, because we would jam to those songs. Once the solo started, you didn't know how long the song was going to be. And then I have a lot of new stuff that I've written with my partner, Emily Tarver. We met on Orange is the New Black, and she sang a few backups, and I was like, you can sing. And we instantly started writing music together.
Well, 2 performers, an actor, a musician, and now kind of collaborating together. That's right. People are going to perhaps know you from your TV experience, not only playing, I think, Daddy on Orange is the New Black, the amazing Netflix show about a women's prison, and then The Voice, the singing competition where what year was that? And tell us a little bit highlights from being on The Voice and seeing that propel your career.
That was in 2011, and man, you got it right. That really was the thing that propelled me. I remember people telling me they were having gathering parties in Washington of just getting together to help vote me along. I mean, it went from being on the show to immediately getting a record deal and touring the record and just going into that big time flashy lifestyle that, like I said earlier, it's really nice to be in Washington and get grounded again. This is where I'm from, and Hollywood is definitely different from Washington.
That is
So
a
it was a little bit of a
Hollywood
change. Yeah.
that is a Hollywood level production, and yet your style is kind of acoustic rock, and you're a singer-songwriter, right? So you weren't necessarily performing your own material. I looked up some of the cover songs that you sang: Adele, Pink, Dolly Parton, Florence and the Machine, Pat Benatar. So
Yeah.
does it work like they give you a short list of songs and you pick from those so you're kind of produced along the way?
You got it right. Absolutely. They kind of, you audition at the beginning with, which one of the ones I did audition with was Jolene. So I definitely got to keep that in the list that to choose from. But yeah, they kind of go based off your style, and that was funny. Yeah, Pink was definitely not the kind of music I was playing in my set with my band and stuff. But if you listen to the record that I made after being on The Voice, the with Come Along and stuff, there's a lot of producers on there that worked with people like Pink and some of those Katy Perry, and so they were trying to popify me, and I was just going to be a sponge. I wanted to learn how to produce, and I wanted to see how they made the record, so I just went for the ride.
Well, it was a big ride, and I'm sure what's interesting to me is how from the beginning I'm going to put at your first album in 2005, On My Way, and then you did a documentary right after, Vicci
Yeah.
Martinez Live. So you've combined mediums, like you're a performing artist on the stage, recording artist, TV, or documentary. What's your interest in being on different platforms that way?
I think, like I said earlier, just being a sponge and taking it all in, seeing how you can do all of it. I think what was fun was being on Orange is the New Black and seeing how a production is made. And I, like you said, I'm into, when I watch TV, I like to watch documentaries. I like to watch stuff that feels real. Sometimes I am guilty of watching a little bit of reality TV. Um, but it, I kind of just like to see people on stage or people that remind me of me and or that make me feel. I don't know. I just remember people would watch me on Orange and they were like, "I saw you and you looked like me," and it made me feel like I was I could be important, instead of just seeing people that look really pretty and really like made for TV, made for whatever, just regular old people. So Orange is the New Black really helped with that. And my partner Emily, she's a writer and has written for things in the past, and the future would be nice to like, make a story of our lives, or even if it's a little bit produced or whatever, like, or scripted, just stuff that feels real. That would be a dream.
Amazing. I have a wide interest too in all different styles. I get to write about all the art forms here in North Central Washington, so it's very satisfying work. But you're right there creating things. How about your albums? 2012, after the show, you produced with Republic Records, Universal Music Group. And then 3 years later, you decided to self release I Am Vicci Martinez. Compare those albums and both like the different productions and styles. You put them out pretty close together, and how did that process go?
Yeah, I was with Universal, and I the record was doing okay, but it wasn't performing the way they wanted, so they released me. It was funny because they got rid of me on my birthday, and my manager called me and she's like, "Hey, this is the best gift you could ever get because you don't owe $500,000." And I was like, "Okay, there we go." And then, like I said, being a sponge kind of taught me how to be in the production world, and so I found a group of people in Tacoma that were producing tracks and trying to do the same thing that some of the teams that I worked with in LA and Sweden and stuff were doing. And I was just like, let's try this. So all the money I had, I invested into that little project. And it didn't do that great, but it it was some of those tracks are some of the funnest things that I guess it was just like go and have fun and see what you can do. And it was a good little run of time of just trying to do what the big leagues were doing. But it's definitely made me realize like it was kind of like let me go and play and just have fun with my toys. And I think what's happened now is my roots are playing my guitar, singing my feelings, singing my emotions, and being very spontaneous about it. And I feel in my 40s now that that's most healing for me. And so that's what I'm back to doing again.
Yeah, you're on the same train of thought that I'm on, which is like it's fun to talk about, the big TV moments, but as a songwriter, as a sort of autobiographical, emotional based musician, it's been almost 15 years, and you've come into a lot of your own. What kind of feelings are going into some of this new material?
Well, yeah, a lot's going on in the world. And I mean, I can sit and scroll on my phone all day long and, get negative about it, or I can grab my guitar and just talk about my feelings that way. And I think that's where everything is leading to. It feels like we had some forward momentum, kind of going on, and then it feels like we've gone a little backwards in the world. And I feel like when things were kind of tough 20, 25 years ago, well, yeah, 20 years ago when I came, 25, yeah, geez, when I came out and stuff in my own personal world, um, you know, I I use my guitar and my lyrics to really help myself therapize those moments, I guess. That's my word, therapize. Have my own therapy. And right now I feel like, I need that healing and maybe some listeners could use that healing as well. Sometimes it's hard to put what you're feeling just into words, or you just kind of like overthink everything. So, maybe with a little bit of music frequency, it's helpful to get some of that out. And living in New York is totally different. Um, Emily and we've been together for almost 8 years now. So this is the longest relationship I've been in. And there's a lot of ups and downs that go with that. So there's a lot more material um, that, I have that is, like you said, autobiographical, that is definitely a new platform for me.
Autobiographical, but I hear your, social media sources like you're writing for the collective, what you hope are common feelings that people can share with you, and there's a long, proud history of um, solo, women with a guitar, um, putting things down. For some reason, Ani DeFranco comes to mind when I think of you. She's
Yeah.
more folk, but like she's such an icon, and you've been out and clear about your um, sexual identity and your love relationships, and that's just so authentic. And it's really cool that you're making music together now, and having a happy life all the way in New York together. We sure do want you to come home. Come get grounded with us.
I know. I need it every year. I try to do that as much in the summer, but like if there's any pockets, and I'm putting that out there, if anybody needs any shows or private shows, email me because I'm available. I
Super.
think, like I said before, I'd taken a little bit of a break after doing that pop stuff and just, I also got sober. I've had a few uh, roller coasters of, just life that have happened, and, trying to keep up with the lifestyle that that kind of popularity brings. And I had to get healthy, so I've been sober for the last few years, and it's you know definitely opened my heart and my mind up much more to what's going on, like you said, for the collective.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice clear channel for some new music to come out. And you let me know when that release date is coming up. But people get it live and in person at Icicle Creek Center for the Arts if they're in the Valley. Um, a beautiful place and a beautiful singer. So thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, really a pleasure. All right, enjoy the rest of your time in the Valley.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for calling and making this so easy.
That was Jessica Drake with Vicci Martinez. For more, head over to WenatcheeWorld.com. Are you passionate about the issues shaping North Central Washington? Then you won't want to miss the Wenatchee World Forum at PIBUS. This monthly event brings together newsmakers and the community to dive into the topics that matter most. It's your chance to engage, ask questions, and be part of the conversation shaping our region's future. Have questions or need more info? Visit WenatcheeWorld.com/forum. Now, a few other stories you should know about. Local nonprofits in the Wenatchee Valley are feeling the strain as food insecurity rises and federal support dwindles. Serve Wenatchee and the Shalane Douglas Community Action Council are both seeing increased demand while grappling with higher food costs and fewer resources. Serve Wenatchee expects to distribute more than 150,000 pounds of food this year, up from 131,000 last year, while the council has had to lean on mobile pantries and community donations to meet needs. Officials say inflation and federal funding cuts, including the loss of AmeriCorps labor, have made their missions harder, but local generosity continues to fill the gaps. The Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center is getting a new name, and they're turning to the public for help. Starting Friday, community members can submit one name suggestion per day, either online or at the center's front desk. The contest runs through August 31st, and the winning entry will earn either $500 or 2 lifetime memberships. The renaming effort is part of a broader push to make the center more inclusive for all generations. The leadership reassures older members that longtime programs and services will remain unchanged. Smoky skies returned to Wenatchee this week as haze from the Bear Gulch fire in the Olympic National Forest drifted across the state. The fire, which started in early July, has burned nearly 5,800 acres and remains just 3% contained. While local air quality is currently in the moderate range, sensitive individuals are encouraged to limit outdoor activity. Fire crews continue working in difficult terrain using helicopters and sprinklers, and forecasters are calling for some rain later in the week, which hopefully will bring some relief. Lake Shalane Health is looking to expand its campus with a new 2-story administrative building and a 7-bay ambulance garage. The proposed 7,500 square foot facility will house emergency services teams, administrative offices, and sleeping quarters for overnight staff. Construction could begin as soon as late summer or early fall. The Washington State capital budget has already allocated over $12 million toward improving emergency medical infrastructure in the region, with a public comment window for environmental review closing this Thursday. Thanks for listening. For more information on all the stories you heard today, visit us at WenatcheeWorld.com. The Wenatchee World has been engaging, informing, and inspiring North Central Washington communities since 1905. We encourage you to subscribe today to keep your heart and mind connected to what matters most in North Central Washington. Thanks for starting your morning with us, and don't forget to subscribe to Slices of Wenatchee wherever you listen to podcasts.